2021. Welcome to our special meeting of December the 20th, 2021. Are there any questions? I don't believe we have any questions for this meeting.
There are no questions.
Okay, well, I'll reintroduce everyone in case you weren't at our last meeting at 6 o'clock, but we have Councillor Stephen Early, who presented a very beautiful explanation of our budget and our 3-year capital expenditure plan. Thank you for all your work and for all the work from the finance department led by our amazing treasurer, Angelo Marino. It's really great to have you, Angelo, and everything seems to be going smoothly thanks to you. So let's keep it that way. We also have with us Councillor Mitch Kajowski, Councillor Andy Schuster, Councillor Lior Azarad, Councillor Sidney Benizri, Councillor Mike Cohen, and Councillor Dita Burku. So as there are no questions, we're going to move into the first item of business, which is bylaw concerning taxes for the city of Côte Saint-Luc, notice of motion and tabling. Councillor Early.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I hereby give notice of motion that bylaw 2578 to be entitled Bylaw Concerning Taxes of the City of Côte Saint-Luc for the fiscal year 2022 will be presented at a later meeting for adoption. Furthermore, I'm mentioning the object and scope of the bylaw 2578 concerning taxes of the City of Côte Saint-Luc for the fiscal year 2022 and tabling draft bylaw 2578 entitled Bylaw Concerning Taxes of the City of Côte Saint-Luc for the fiscal year 2022.
Thank you, Councillor Early. Anything you'd like to say on that?
So just to mention again, so the tax rates are the ones that were discussed during the presentation. They are available, and the presentation itself is available at cotesaintluc.org/finance, and the rates will be adopted this Wednesday, so in 2 days from today at 6:30 p.m. Thank you.
Excellent. Item number 3, which is bylaw amending bylaw 2574 regarding home electric charging stations. Councillor Early.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I hereby give notice of motion that bylaw 2574-1, amending bylaw 2574 to be entitled Bylaw 2574, instituting a financial assistance program for the purchase and installation of a home electric charging station in order to amend the source of financing to the 2022 operating budget will be presented at a later meeting for adoption. Furthermore, I'm mentioning the object and scope of the bylaw related to the financial assistance program for the purchase and installation of a home electric charging station. And finally, I am tabling draft bylaw 2574-1, amending bylaw 2574 entitled Bylaw 2574, instituting a financial assistance program for the purchase and installation of a home electric charging station in order to amend the source of financing to the 2022 operating budget.
Thank you, Councillor Early. Any more discussion?
So just to mention, this year we had allocated $10,000, and we're about to, at least as of a few weeks ago, we're about to surpass that amount, and so which was the equivalent of 40 new charging stations. So 40 times $250. For the upcoming year for 2022, we've increased the amount from $10,000 to $15,000, so it'll be the equivalent of 60. However, if the council sees that there are more and more residents that are purchasing electric vehicles and home charging stations, we have the opportunity to increase that amount. And again, we're hoping this small incentive will encourage residents to do that, and the more they do, the less, of course, pollution, and the better it'll be for climate, to reduce climate change. Thank you.
Excellent. So now we move on to the next item, which is item number 4, approval of working fund projects for 2022. Councillor Early.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'll read this resolution, which includes the projects, many of which I mentioned, but some not necessarily as I couldn't mention every detail in the budget presentation. So be it resolved that for the 2022 fiscal year, the City Council approves the following pursuant to a non-interest-bearing loan from its working fund for the following projects. Purchase of outdoor ping pong tables up to a maximum of $36,000 plus applicable taxes to be amortized over a period of 5 years. Purchase and installation of electric vehicle charging stations up to a maximum amount of $39,800 plus applicable taxes to be amortized over a period of 5 years. Purchase and installation of a mobility chair at the ACC up to a maximum of $15,000 plus applicable taxes to be amortized over a period of 5 years. Purchase of tablets and computers for public security and EMS up to a maximum of $58,500 plus applicable taxes to be amortized over a period of 5 years. Purchase of switching systems for IT services up to a maximum of $55,000 plus applicable taxes, also to be amortized over a period of 5 years. Purchase and installation of security camera systems up to a maximum of $15,800 plus applicable taxes to be amortized over a period of 5 years. Audiovisual equipment upgrades for various conference rooms up to a maximum of $96,000 plus applicable taxes to be amortized over a period of 5 years. Purchase and computers and accessories up to a maximum of $50,000 plus applicable taxes to be amortized over a period of 5 years. Purchase of furniture in the library, the AV and fireplace lounges up to a maximum of $20,000 plus applicable taxes to be amortized over a period of 5 years. Furthermore, purchase and installation of video streaming equipment for the auditorium and council chambers up to a maximum of $37,600 plus applicable taxes to be amortized over 5 years. And last, purchase and installation of building sheds for the public works yards up to a maximum of $80,000 plus applicable taxes to be amortized over a period of, I think it's supposed to be 10 years. I see both written there. Anyway, we'll go with 10 years from now, and maybe we'll, that's what check. Maybe you can just double check that one for me. And that the city shall provide every year out of its general fund a sum sufficient to repay the various loans back into the working fund.
Thank you, Councillor Early. Moved by Councillor Early and seconded by whoever wishes, Councillor Schuster. Any discussion?
So just to share, so these are items purchased through the working fund. So what the working fund is basically an amount that is set aside by the city. Right now, it's about $2.5 million. Where the city has put this money aside for smaller projects. So these tend to be smaller projects, usually with an amortization period of 5 or 10 years. And what we do is we borrow the money from ourselves. So of course we don't have to pay any interest costs. And I'm just seeing my notes. So it is, thank you for the clarification. It's 10 years because it says actually both 5 and 10 for the shed. So just maybe correct that later in the resolution in the minutes. So most of these items I mentioned, I'll just.
Councillor Early?
Yeah.
I'm happy to make the correction right now. I'm actually in the minutes. So whatever correction you'd like me to make, I'm very happy to do it.
Yeah. So just for number 11, I just noticed it now. It says, if you read on page 24 of the digital version, it says 5, but then 10 in brackets. So just to correct the 10, make that 5 a 10.
Okay.
See that?
Perfect. So yeah, I will write in TEN to correspond with the number 10.
Perfect. Thank you. So like as I stated, most of these I previously mentioned. I guess we have more of the outdoor ping pong tables. I had the opportunity this past summer to play quite a few times at one of them, so there'll be more of those purchased. And I think the rest I talked about. Yeah, I think all the other ones I mentioned, including, well, the charging stations for residents to be used on the street, and as previously mentioned, outside of Fletcher Park, which is going to be an exciting one. A lot of IT equipment, and that's it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Early. So it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? So all in favor? Carried unanimously, and we move to the next item, which is item number 5, Councillor Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're going to be a little nostalgic with this bylaw in terms of an old term. This has to deal with our present day pro mayor and changing it to deputy mayor, but this is the process we got to follow. So I so move that bylaw G18-0001-1 entitled bylaw G18-0001-1, amending bylaw G18-0001 entitled bylaw concerning rules for the conduct of council meetings of the Côte Saint-Luc, Hampstead, Montreal West Borough in order to modify the term of the mayor suppléant or mairesse suppléant be and hereby adopted.
Moved by
So-
Councillor Cohen, seconded by Councillor Erdely. Any discussion?
Well, this is the process in order to have a deputy mayor, a new position. We previously, as long as I can remember, had a pro mayor every 3 months. It would rotate. And this will be published in the Suburban, December 29th. And at the January meeting, we will appoint Councillor Burtko to this position.
Correct. I think the term still, it's the French term, maire suppléant. We can use the term deputy mayor as well. The purpose of the change is to, instead of doing it every 3 months, we'll be doing it once a year. And as deputy mayor, Burtko has the title of and portfolio of deputy mayor, we will be appointing her for a period of 1 year, renewable each year. So it has been moved by Councillor Cohen, seconded by Councillor Erdely. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried with Councillor Azarad dissenting, and we move to item number 6. Councillor Erdely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the preamble of this resolution shall form an integral part thereof, as if cited hereinafter at length, that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council hereby authorizes the settlement of the aforementioned claim received from property owners of 596 and 598 West Luke for the following amounts: $1,995.25, including taxes, for Ms. Florence Breshkovsky-Kudin, $1,995.25, including tax, for Ms. Ruth Karp, and $3,990.50, including taxes, for Monsieur Claude Khadija, that the city manager, director of legal services, and city clerk, or the assistant director of legal services and assistant clerk be and are hereby authorized to approve and sign any document giving effect to the foregoing, and that treasurer certificate number 21-0165 dated December 13th, 2021 has been issued by the city treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to cover the described expenses.
Moved by Councillor Erdely, seconded by Councillor Azarad. Any discussion?
So just to mention, this the settlement has to do with alleged damages related to the replacement of the water service line. So I want to thank the city's legal department, and I want to thank the residents. I apologize that this one took a bit longer than we'd hoped to settle. But you know, when I spoke to the residents, I mentioned that the goal was to get it done before the end of December. I think some of them are off away, but hopefully they're watching on Zoom or on YouTube, and you know, we're glad this is it took a bit longer than we would have liked, but we're glad it's being settled. So thank you.
Thank you. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Carried unanimously, and we move to the next item, which is something we've already spoken about many times, and we will continue to, which is the resolution on the definition of Quebec's English-speaking community. Councillor Erdely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll read the whereases for this one, then I'll do the resolution itself both in English and in French. So yeah, I guess I'll start. Whereas during his inaugural address to the National Assembly on October 19th, 2021, Premier François Legault stated, "I want to speak to the historic English-speaking community of Quebec. You are an integral part of Quebec. As a historic community, you have your own institutions, schools, colleges, universities, hospitals, the media. Canada's Francophone minorities dream of mastering so many institutions. No minority in Canada is better served than English-speaking Quebecers, and we are proud of that." Whereas the following day, Premier Legault defined the historic English-speaking community as those individuals who are eligible for English schooling in Quebec, whereas eligibility to attend school in English in Quebec is not in any way linked to the language of the student or the parent. Rather, it is linked to the language of instruction received by the parent or the educational pathway of the student or his or her siblings. Meanwhile, ironically, Francophones who attend English schools and their children would be provided the right to receive government services in English. Whereas the use of the English eligible category in Bill 96 is grossly under-inclusive, eliminating the right to access English services in English for between 300,000 and 500,000 English-speaking Quebecers and is entirely disconnected from the community's self-identification, whereas under international norms, minorities define themselves. They're not defined by the state, whereas any attempt to discriminate by creating categories of citizens then deemed eligible to receive certain government services is deeply troublesome from a public governance perspective, whereas English-speaking Quebecers are full and contributing members of Quebec society who are committed to building an inclusive Quebec where French is the common language. Be it resolved that any attempt by the government of Quebec to define the English-speaking Quebecers as a historic community or limit their right to receive government communications and services in English is profoundly objectionable. Furthermore, rights and services should never be based on eligibility for English instruction. And I'll read the resolution as well in French. Il est résolu que toute tentative du gouvernement du Québec de définir les Québécois d'expression anglaise comme une communauté historique ou de limiter leur droit de recevoir des communications et des services gouvernementaux en anglais est profondément inacceptable. Qui plus est, les droits et les services ne devraient jamais être fondés sur l'admissibilité à l'enseignement en anglais. Merci.
Okay, so moved by Councillor Erdling and seconded by Councillor Schuster. Any discussion, Councillor Erdling?
So just to mention briefly, we adopted a similar resolution. Well, I would say a bit more of a comprehensive one in October before the election. This resolution was actually one provided by the QCGN, the Quebec Community Group Network. And the goal of this is to supplement our resolution and to say that we don't agree with what Premier Legault has said. We don't find it acceptable in any way, shape, or form. And of course, we want to make sure that our voice is heard, representing many English-speaking Quebecers who we know agree with our point of view. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Erdling. Councillor Burkle.
Oui, j'aimerais ajouter aussi que moi-même, je ne suis pas éligible à l'enseignement en anglais parce que j'ai fait mon école primaire en français parce que mes parents ont voulu que j'apprenne le français et que je n'étais pas éligible à l'école publique en français parce que je n'étais pas de confession catholique, j'étais de confession juive. Donc, j'étais obligée d'aller à l'école privée en français. Et donc, tout ça m'amène à dire que je ne fais pas partie de ceux qui ont l'éligibilité par l'enseignement en anglais, mais je me sens vraiment partie de la communauté anglophone. So, you know, all these sort of machinations and acrobatics that we're doing, that were you eligible, not eligible, did you go to French school, did you go to English school? I mean, it's just really nonsense. And if we feel comfortable and are part of the Anglophone community, then that's how we identify. If some of my colleagues feel more comfortable in the Francophone community, that's how they identify. And I don't think the government should be restricting our access to government services by checking to see if we were schooled in English or French. It's just not productive at this point in our evolution in Quebec. So that's why I'm supporting this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No, we live in a very strange society with these bills, Bill 96, Bill 21, and we have to continue to speak up in favor of minority rights and encourage all levels of government to do the same, and particularly the people to stand up for what they believe in and express their solidarity. Particularly, we've seen what's recently happened with the teacher who was wearing a hijab and had to be relieved of her position. It was expected, but it's a very strange law. We're the only country in the world that I know of that you need permission to provide service in another language. Anywhere else, you want to provide service in another language, provide service. We in Quebec are unique. We need permission to provide service in another language. And what is that strange, horrible language? English. We need permission. Anyway, we have to keep on standing up for minority rights. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously. And now we move to item number 8, which is Councillor Burke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You can hear me, right? So be it resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc Council approves the dismissal of employee 2002, effective immediately December 20th, 2021. The council further authorizes any salient recourse before a court of competent jurisdiction to recover any amounts owed to the city by said employee.
A move by Councillor Burku, seconded by Councillor Kajowski. It's HR, so I guess there's no discussion. All in favor? Anyone opposed? It is carried unanimously. And now we move to an adjournment of the meeting. If there's no questions, there are no questions at this meeting. Okay, so move for adjournment. Moved by Councillor Schuster, seconded by Councillor Kajowski. All in favor? We're adjourned. Stay safe, everyone. Be well, and we'll see you soon on Wednesday.